It's the new film by Steven Spielberg, the director of Jaws. It's also about the year's hot movie subject, science fiction, a subject made hot by the popularity of Star Wars. Close Encounters is about an encounter between a whole bunch of Midwestern folks and a genuine, unidentified flying object full of beings from another planet. The UFO is first picked up on the scanning equipment at an air traffic control center.
Contact 134.4. 344, what's this? Aries 31 has traffic 2 o'clock, slightly above and descending.
Aries 31, can you say aircraft type?
Negative, Center. No distinct outline. To tell you the truth, the target is rather brilliant. It's the brightest any collision lights I think I've ever seen. Alternating white to red. Colors are a little striking. Wait a second. Stand by one. Okay, Center. Aries 31, the traffic is turned. He's heading right for my windshield. We're turning right immediately and leaving flight level 350 now.
Aries 31, descend and maintain flight level 310. Great. Allegheny 444, turn right 30 degrees.
Get on the order to the 45th recon wing. See what the hell they could be testing up there.
The traffic is approaching head on, ultra bright, and really moving. And right by us right now.
Aston, do you want to report or say so?
EWA 517, do you want to report a UFO? Over. EWA 517, do you want to report a UFO? Over.
Well, that pilot may not want to report a UFO, but there are plenty of other people in Close Encounters who are willing to file such reports. In fact, some of the folks are downright eager. They're not afraid of visitors from another planet. One such man is Richard Dreyfuss, a Muncie, Indiana power company repairman who first meets the UFO on a backwoods road. At first, he's terrified. And Melinda Dillon is most scared by the UFO when it terrorizes her home, but the spaceship's ultra-bright lights only delight her child, played by a charming 4-year-old actor. Unlike his mother, the kid loves the unknown. Another man who welcomes the UFOs and the alien beings is a French scientist played by Francois Truffaut, who at the end of the movie joins with other scientists to greet the visitors from outer space. It's a wonderful scene combining fantasy, adventure, and mystery, all tempered by love of the unknown. But before the end of the picture, I think that the story gets bogged down in a poorly written subplot about the government trying to stop Dreyfuss from getting near the visitors from the other planet. But I still like Close Encounters of the Third Kind very much. Its special effects are really wondrous. The UFOs knock me out, and the picture has an awfully nice message. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Seek it out.
And also stick it out if the middle part is a little bit slow, because the last 30 minutes, to me, are among the most marvelous things I've ever seen on the screen. And another thing about that first encounter between man and the creatures from outer space, if you think back over the last 30 years and all the flying saucer movies that we've sat through, we always treated the people in the flying saucers as if they were Russians or Chinese, and we had bombs and guns to greet them, and this time we just greet them with open arms. It shows a very interesting change in attitude.
It's also a change from a lot of recent very popular pictures. You know, Exorcist, the whole point was scaring, sort of abusing the audience. Jaws, scaring, frightening us. This thing is sort of, what's mysterious is unknown, and we love it, rather than running from that shark or running from the devil. So it's a special kind of picture.
You feel good at the end. It doesn't have the horror or the monster or the thing with 16 tentacles or the Spider-Man or something. It's the same as Star Wars, which is a war movie. Going to look at it in a second. There's a lot of shooting in it, but somehow nobody really gets hurt. It's more like a kid's picture, more like Flash Gordon or Buck Rogers in its innocence.
I think that a good guy cast in the lead here is Dreyfuss, who is sort of boyish and is charming, is enthusiastic. I think he's perfectly cast for the film, as he was in Jaws, the other Spielberg film.
You know, Gene, a lot of people keep asking me, and I'm sure they've asked you too, if Close Encounters is another Star Wars. Well, no, it isn't. The only thing the two movies have in common are flying saucers, but the big success of both films shows once again how strong science fiction is at the box office right now.
And we both highly recommend Close Encounters of the Third Kind, especially because of its wonderful special effects-filled ending.
So what we thought we'd do is take another look at Star Wars, which just now broke the United States box office record, which was once held by Gone with the Wind and then by Jaws. Star Wars goes into national re-release for the Christmas season, and for many people that'll be another chance to see those two wonderful non-human friends of ours, the robots R2-D2 and C-3PO. Here we see them in a planetary wasteland.
What a desolate place this is. Where do you think you're going? What mission? What are you talking about? I've just about had enough of you. Go that way. You'll be malfunctioning within a day, you nearsighted scrap pile. And don't let me catch you following me, begging for help, because you won't get it.
The movie is supposed to be set millions and millions of years ago in a galaxy far away, but every time I see it, R2-D2 and C-3PO somehow remind me of Laurel and Hardy. In any event, they may only be robots, but they're the two most sympathetic characters in the film, and it took great special effects to create them. And that's another thing Star Wars and Close Encounters have in common, real magic of combining animation, models, double, triple exposures, and all the other tricks of the special effects trade. Look, for example, at this sensational battle in outer space.
In, kid? Okay, stay sharp.
Here they come.
Don't worry. You'll hold together. Hey, baby, hold together.
Boom! So there you have it. Your basic intergalactic warfare as the heroic princess is snatched away from the Death Star by the intrepid space buccaneers. And what's the meaning of it all? Who knows and who cares? Star Wars became the new box office champion by providing pure 100% escapist entertainment. It's one of those rare movies that seems to play to every sort of audience, Gene, and bring out the kid in all of us.
You know, I've seen the picture 3 times, and that sequence more than that. And every time I see that little fighting sequence, I think I figured out the secret of at least that chunk of the movie, and that is, that looks exactly like what happens at a pinball game that kids love. We're seeing things blow up, and I think the way this movie is shot different ways, quick action like that, it's like you're putting every person as a pinball player who walks into the theater.
Maybe that's why people can see it a dozen times or 2 dozen times, because it doesn't matter that you know the story. You still have the sound and light, the effects, the explosions, the dogfight in outer space. It's just a never-ending visual delight. I think it's a movie that will last for years.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is it's so successful and so mindless fun that I hope Hollywood doesn't forget that there are people who like to see serious pictures, too.
Going only by the title, you might think that a movie called Saturday Night Fever, starring John Travolta as the king of the disco dancers, would turn out like a shotgun marriage between an old Elvis Presley flick and Welcome Back, Kotter. But it doesn't. In fact, it's one of the best movies of the season, a real sleeper and a big surprise. Travolta turns in a great performance as a tough Brooklyn hardware clerk who doesn't get along very well, to say the least, with his family.
Priest, like your brother, you wouldn't worry about a job.
Yeah. Every time you mention Frank Jr., you gotta cross yourself.
He's a priest, ain't he? Father Frank Jr., your brother.
Your mother doesn't have too much to cross yourself about these days.
You're so jealous of Frank Jr.
Oh, shut up, will you? Hey, where are you going? Hey, the shirt, wash the shirt, stupid.
Oh, come on. Basta! All right, come on. Mangia, mangia. Go ahead, eat. I got more pork chops, more spaghetti.
What do you mean you got more pork chops? I'm out of work.
Yeah, well, as long as we got $1 left, we eat good in this house.
What?
Yeah, I might even get a job myself.
I tell you, Bill. 25 years in construction work, I always brought him a paycheck. What, 6, 7 months I'm out of work? And all of a sudden, what? You hit me. And talking back.
All right.
Talking about getting a job and hitting me.
All right. No hitting, no slapping at the dinner table, okay? That's the rule. And you was the one who's hitting.
You never hit me before. Never. Not in front of the kids. One pork chop! One!
Hey, Frank!
It's disgusting, right? Sick. We just wash the hair. Yeah. You know, I work on my hair a long time, and you hit it. He hits my hair.
It's a real drag still living at home. Travolta has that bedsheet around his neck to keep his disco shirt free of spaghetti sauce. He really hates it when his father hits his hair, but he has another world to escape to, the world of his dancing.
Do you know the tango hustle?
Yeah.
Here, let's try that.
The girl is played by Karen Gorney, and they're rehearsing together for a big disco dance contest with a $500 first prize. They dance a lot, they talk a lot, and in a funny way, they fall in love, but the dancing comes first. The preview audiences have had a tendency to cheer that scene, and the film buffs might have known that it's all one shot. Travolta's character runs with a tough gang of semi-delinquents, and the movie says a lot about the world they live in. It's a world where everything is aimless, frustrating, and meaningless, except Saturday night. The movie is quite a combination: dancing and sex, violence and dreams, and songs by the Bee Gees.
Oh, it's a very entertaining picture, and I think when I see a picture like this, I realize, hey, it isn't that tough to make a good movie. It's got, all it has to have is stuff that's real. That dinner table scene, it's a little broad with the hitting going around in the circle, but that kind of thing does happen. And the dancing, all they did is capture a world that we haven't seen before. They go into this disco, and you find out that somebody really gets off on dancing. It's a very real kind of picture, and I like it just for that.
When you stop to think about it, just this season we've had two of the biggest stars on television really make their first starring movies, Henry Winkler and John Travolta. And I think Winkler's heroes tried to do too much, tried to hedge too many bets, and Travolta, in this film, goes all out, gives us this character 100%, and it really works. It's kind of like another Rocky.
Well, also, it's an R-rated picture, and Travolta, who's on TV, didn't have to take a risk. He could have made one of these sweetness and light PG or G pictures. It's a little risky. There's some violence and nudity and rough language in the film. I give the guy credit.
So long until then, we'll see you at the movies.